Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we'll take a look at maintenance trains. After a long and hard winter, the railroad can take a beating. So, when the springtime comes, maintenance trains run through, and today we'll look at two of them. The first one will be a track geometry train that scans the rails for any defects invisible to the human eyes with lasers, and then we'll see a rail train coming through to replace the rails along the right-of-way. All that and more is coming up next on DH2906. So let's go. Here comes good old 16R on his way to Massachusetts. Ever seen a 7-pack of horse heads on the front of 16R before? I'm pretty sure those trailing units are going to be used for an extra southbound, whether it be an M1R or an I65. Extra 11R or extra 265. Because that's usually what happens when there's like 6 or 7 units like that. But I've never seen 7. I've seen 6. Never seen 7 like that. I don't know all the manufacturers of automobiles and those auto racks, but I could see Jeep and Nissans in there. Saw the front of a Jeep and the front of a Nissan. That's cool. And in the fog too, so neat. Comes NS GEO, the track geometry train. NS 34 and 99 are one of 2 of Norfolk Southern's track geometry train sets. Both 34 and 99 have interesting histories that date back to Norfolk Southern's predecessors. 34 was ex-NNW SD35 1530 before becoming a slug and then a geometry unit in the late 1990s, and it was rebuilt in 2008 with a cab, while 99 traces its roots back to the DL&W and the CNJ. NS-34 is not an operable locomotive, as it houses all the electronics needed for the geometry train. There are no motors or traction motors, fuel, or anything in 34. However, it does supply the proper weight to replicate an engine going over a section of track, so the geometry car can pick it up with the proper weights and stress underneath the rails. However, while this cool train was passing, my camera decided it would be a good time not to focus in on the train, so all you'll see is a big blur, but I'll pop up a picture. Get to the chopper! Well, that really stinks of that last shot. I'll have to put a photo up. But right now we got 6959 leading 11R. He's going to be coming through the siding here real soon, so let's check him out. And never mind, we're not going to see the 11R because he's all the way down there and he's working loots and I have to go home. Which that blows. Here comes the 11R on a, get this, these words don't usually mix too often, bright and cloudy morning. Yeah, bright and cloudy. So explain this to me. It's snowing, and it's April, and it's supposed to be summer in 2 months. I'm finding it hard to believe. Feels more like January, February. But doesn't matter. The trains keep on rolling. If you remember from a couple videos ago, you would remember that we had a continuous welded rail train go through Wells Bridge with the 4781 on the point. Well, the cars on this rail train should be coming back empty. They're somewhere in the mix. So, let's see if we can find them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you'll tune into another one in the near future. Thanks for watching. We'll see you around the bend. God bless. We'll catch you next time. And there they are, all empty, heading back to wherever they originated from. Not entirely sure. This train's final destination is Binghamton, so who knows where those cars will go afterwards.